There exists within the vast corpus of metaphysical literature a teaching so profoundly simple, yet so devastatingly effective, that it has been simultaneously celebrated and dismissed by countless seekers throughout the past century. This teaching originates from the mind of Neville Goddard, a mystic and lecturer whose philosophical framework transcended the superficial manifestation techniques that saturate our contemporary discourse. Today, we shall explore not merely a technique, but rather a complete metaphysical system, one that suggests you can align your inner state with your desired reality within a span of merely 3 days. Before we venture into the specifics of this method, I must establish something of paramount importance. What we discuss here is not magic in the colloquial sense, nor is it some mystical shortcut that circumvents the natural laws of consciousness. Rather, it represents a rigorous application of what Neville termed the law of assumption, a principle asserting that consciousness is the only reality and that the outer world is nothing more than a shadow cast by the light of your inner convictions. The 3-day framework we shall examine is not arbitrary. It represents a condensed, intensified application of principles that, when properly understood and implemented, can create a shift so profound in your state of being that the external world has no choice but to reflect this transformation. You see, Neville understood something that most teachers of manifestation fail to grasp. Time, as we perceive it, is merely a construct of our 3-dimensional experience. In the realm of consciousness, in the eternal now, where all possibilities exist simultaneously, 3 days and 3 years are equally illusory. This is not a process of asking, begging, or even hoping. It is an act of claiming. You are not trying to attract something from the outside. You are awakening it from within. For the next 3 days, you will be asked to live not as a person who wants something, but as the person who already has it. This requires a level of mental discipline and imaginative fidelity that most are unwilling to commit to, which is precisely why the method remains both powerful and elusive. This is the core of Neville's philosophy. To change your world, you must first change the occupant of that worldview. Our first block, the foundation of assumption, serves as the bedrock upon which the entire 3-day process is built. Before you can even begin to apply this method, you must fully grasp what it means to assume. An assumption, in Neville's parlance, is not a mere wish or a fleeting thought. It is a sustained, deliberate act of inhabiting a state of consciousness. It is the art of feeling your wish as if it were already a concrete, palpable reality in your life. To begin, you must define your desire with absolute clarity. What is it that you truly wish to experience? A new career? A specific relationship? Financial abundance? Be precise. Ambiguity is the enemy of assumption. Once your objective is crystal clear, the next step is to construct a short, vivid scene, mental motion picture that implies the fulfillment of your desire. This scene should not depict the process of getting your desire. It must signify that you already have it. For instance, if your desire is to be successfully published, you wouldn't imagine yourself writing the book. Instead, you might imagine a friend congratulating you, saying, "I can't believe your book is a bestseller." You might feel the weight of a physical copy in your hands, or see it on a bookstore shelf. The scene must be an event that takes place asterisk after asterisk. The wish has been fulfilled. This is crucial. You are not manifesting the journey. You are occupying the destination. This scene becomes your sanctum, the imaginal act to which you will return again and again throughout this process. The power of this technique lies in its sensory vividness. You must engage all your imaginal senses. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you touch, taste, and smell in this scene of fulfillment? The more real and natural it feels to your inner self, the more potent its creative power becomes. This is not daydreaming. It is a controlled, directed act of creation. You are impressing a new reality upon the formless substance of your subconscious mind, which Neville identified as the creative power of God within you. Now we enter the second block, the first day, the mental diet. This is where the true discipline begins. Having established your imaginal scene, your task for the first 24 hours is to maintain a strict mental diet. This means you must consciously refuse to entertain any thought, feeling, or conversation that contradicts the reality of your fulfilled desire. Think of your mind as a garden. For this one day, you will act as a vigilant gardener, pulling out every weed of doubt, worry, or fear the moment it sprouts. If your desire is for perfect health, you must not allow yourself to dwell on symptoms or complain about feeling unwell. If your desire is for abundance, you must forbid any thought of lack or limitation from taking root in your consciousness. Whenever a negative thought arises, and it will, you do not fight it. You simply acknowledge it and immediately redirect your attention back to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. You might mentally replay your imaginal scene or simply repeat a short, powerful phrase that implies fulfillment, such as, "It is done," or "Thank you." This is a day of unwavering self-observation. You become the gatekeeper of your own mind. Every time your senses report a reality that is contrary to your assumption, you must, in your imagination, deny its authority. Neville taught that the evidence of the senses is secondary. The primary reality is the state you are occupying in consciousness. The outer world is simply the past, the fruit of your former states of consciousness. Your job on this first day is to starve the old reality of your attention and feed the new one with your focused, feeling conviction. This mental diet is perhaps the most challenging aspect of the entire process, as it forces you to confront the habitual negative patterns that dominate your thinking. But it is non-negotiable. You are breaking the momentum of your old state of being and establishing the foundation for a new one. For 24 hours you live and breathe from the end, from the feeling of your wish already being a fact. As we move into the third block, the second day, saturating the subconscious, the intensity of the process deepens. On this day, you will continue the mental diet, but you will now add a specific and powerful practice, systematically saturating your subconscious mind with the feeling of your assumption. This is achieved through a technique Neville called state akin to sleep, or SATS. This involves entering a relaxed, drowsy, meditative state, typically just before you fall asleep at night, and just as you are waking up in the morning. In this quasi-dream state, the barrier between your conscious and subconscious mind is at its thinnest. Your critical, analytical faculties are subdued, making your subconscious mind exceptionally receptive to new impressions. In this state, you will bring your imaginal scene to mind. You will loop it over and over again, like a short film, until it takes on the tones of reality. You must feel yourself asterisk and asterisk the scene, not just watching it from a distance. Feel the handshake, hear the congratulatory words, experience the joy and relief of fulfillment as a present fact. The key here is to feel the emotion. Emotion is the catalyst that cements the impression upon the subconscious. As you cycle through your scene, allow the feeling of its reality to permeate your entire being. Feel it so deeply that it becomes the dominant sensation you carry with you as you drift off to sleep. Neville insisted that the state of consciousness you carry into sleep is the state that your subconscious mind works on throughout the night, solidifying it into the blueprint for your physical reality. You will perform this practice not only before sleep and upon waking, but also, if possible, during a quiet period in the middle of your day. Find a comfortable chair, close your eyes, and enter that state of inner stillness. Then, once again, live in your imaginal act. The goal of the second day is to make the feeling of your fulfilled desire so natural, so familiar, that it begins to feel more real than the problems of your current reality. You are, in effect, rewriting your inner programming with the code of your new desired self. We have now arrived at the fourth and final block of the active process, the third day, the Sabbath. This is a day of profound and radical trust. Having diligently maintained your mental diet and saturated your subconscious mind, your task on the third day is to do nothing. This is the Sabbath, a concept Neville borrowed from the biblical tradition, which he interpreted metaphysically as a state of mental rest and quiet confidence. On this day, you completely release your desire to the creative power within. The Sabbath is not a state of anxious waiting or hopeful anticipation. It is a state of knowing. It is the calm, unshakable conviction that the creative act is finished. You have successfully impressed your subconscious mind with a new reality, and just as a seed planted in fertile ground will sprout in its own time, your desire is now growing in the unseen and will appear in your world. There is nothing more for you to do. The work is done. On this third day, you drop the effort. You no longer need to consciously hold your assumption or loop your scene. You simply go about your day with an underlying feeling of peace and satisfaction. If the thought of your desire comes to mind, it should be met not with longing, but with a quiet nod of recognition, as if remembering a pleasant fact. You have planted the seed. You do not dig it up every few hours to see if it is growing. You trust the process. You rest in the conviction that it is finished. This state of non-interference is critical. Any anxiety or attempt to make it happen at this stage implies doubt, which can neutralize the work you have done. The Sabbath is a test of your faith in the law of assumption. It is the final, essential step of letting go and allowing the unseen intelligence within you to orchestrate the events, conditions, and encounters necessary to bring your assumption into tangible form. You have moved from wanting to having, and now you simply rest in that new state of being. As we conclude, we must address the bridge of incidents and the aftermath. After the third day of Sabbath, you return to your life, but you are not the same person who began this process. You are now inhabiting a new state of consciousness. From this point forward, you must remain faithful to your assumption until it hardens into fact. This does not mean you must continue the intense discipline of the first 2 days, but it does mean you must not regress to your old state of lack and longing. Now you simply watch as the world begins to rearrange itself to reflect your new inner reality. This rearrangement occurs through what Neville called the bridge of incidents, a series of seemingly natural and often unexpected events that lead you to the fulfillment of your desire. It might be a chance encounter, an unexpected phone call, a sudden idea, or a door opening where there was previously a wall. Your rational mind will not be able to predict the path. Your only responsibility is to walk it, to confidently respond to the opportunities that present themselves, knowing that they are all part of the unfolding of your assumption. Do not be discouraged if your desire does not materialize on the 4th day. The 3-day period is for the impregnation of the subconscious mind, not necessarily for the physical birth. The time it takes for an assumption to objectify itself is proportional to the naturalness with which you feel it. Continue to live from the end, embodying the person who has what they desire. Think asterisk from asterisk the wish fulfilled, not asterisk of asterisk it. When you have truly succeeded in shifting your consciousness, the external manifestation is not a miracle. It is the inevitable natural consequence of a law as impersonal and reliable as the law of gravity. This, in its entirety, is the complete Neville Goddard method, a transformative journey not of changing the world, but of changing the self who perceives it. To truly understand and effectively apply the 3-day method, we must first lay the philosophical groundwork upon which it is built. Neville Goddard's core principle was elegantly simple, yet profoundly transformative. Assumptions harden into facts. This single statement, when deeply considered, unlocks the entire mechanism through which our individual reality is created and experienced. An assumption within Neville's teachings is far more than a passing fancy or a hopeful wish. It is a deeply held conviction, a state of consciousness that you inhabit with the same unwavering certainty as your belief in your own name, your heritage, or your current physical surroundings. When you assume a state with this level of complete acceptance, you are not merely hoping for a future outcome. You are actively living from the perspective of the end result, dwelling securely in the state of your wish already fulfilled. The law of assumption functions on a principle that might initially seem to invert your entire understanding of cause and effect. We are traditionally taught to see the external world as the primary cause, and our internal feelings and thoughts as the resulting effect. Neville flipped this paradigm on its head. He asserted with absolute conviction that consciousness is the one and only creative force in the universe. Your external world, encompassing every circumstance, every relationship, and every material condition you experience, is simply the effect, the shadow cast by your prevailing state of consciousness. It is never the cause. This leads us to a vital and often misunderstood component of Neville's philosophy. Everyone is you pushed out, commonly referred to as APO. This powerful concept posits that every individual in your personal reality is fundamentally a projection or reflection of your own consciousness. They are compelled to play the specific roles that your assumptions about them have assigned. This doesn't negate their own free will in their own reality, but within the theater of your experience, their behavior and appearance are dictated by the state you maintain concerning them. If you assume someone is uncooperative, they will reflect that back to you. If you assume they are loving and supportive, they will have no choice but to embody that role in your world. Grasping these fundamental principles is not an optional prerequisite. It is absolutely essential for applying the 3-day method with any degree of success. Without this solid philosophical foundation, the technique degenerates into a hollow ritual, a superstitious act performed without the conscious understanding that animates it and gives it its creative power. You must first accept that your consciousness is the sole creator of your reality before you can consciously direct it to create a new one. Now we arrive at the architecture of the method itself. The 3-day manifestation technique that Neville occasionally referenced in his lectures is not, as some would have you believe, a simplified version of his teachings. Rather, it is an intensified, concentrated application of his most powerful practices, compressed into a brief temporal window to create maximum impact. The entire process hinges upon 3 essential components, each of which must be executed with absolute precision and unwavering commitment. Failure to adhere to any one of these pillars will compromise the integrity of the entire structure and likely lead to inconsistent or non-existent results. Let us dissect each component with the surgical focus it demands. The first component, and arguably the foundation upon which everything else is built, is achieving absolute clarity regarding your desire. This is not as simple as it sounds, and it is the very first stumbling block for most aspiring students of this work. Most individuals believe they know what they want, when in fact they possess only a vague, emotionally conflicted approximation of their goal. To say you want more money or a better job is to deal in abstractions, and the subconscious mind does not respond to ambiguity. You must distill your desire into a singular specific outcome. More importantly, you must be able to articulate your desire not in terms of the object or circumstance itself, but in terms of the feeling it would generate once fulfilled. Neville was emphatic about this point. We do not desire things, we desire the states of consciousness that things produce. Therefore, the question is not, what do you want to have? But what would it feel like if your desire were already true? You must isolate that specific feeling, be it relief, security, gratitude, or triumph, and make that feeling your true north. Once this clarity of feeling is established, you must proceed to the second component, the construction of what Neville called an imaginal act. This is a brief, repeatable mental scene that implies the fulfillment of your desire. The key word here is implies. Your scene must be crafted with meticulous attention to sensory vividness, creating a moment that could only take place after your wish has been realized. The scene should not depict you receiving the money, getting the job offer, or meeting the perfect person. Such scenes involve the bridge of incident, the how, which is not your concern. Instead, your scene should depict a moment that follows the fulfillment. For example, if your desire is for a specific promotion, your scene might be a friend congratulating you, shaking your hand firmly as they say, "I knew you'd get it." You would feel the texture of their hand, hear the tone of their voice, and feel the swell of pride and accomplishment within you. The scene must be short, something you can loop easily in your mind, and it must engage one or more of your senses. Neville often emphasized that touch is the most powerful sense for anchoring an imaginal act in reality, lending it a solidity that sight or sound alone may lack. This imaginal act becomes your sacred script, the film you will project onto the screen of your mind. Third, and most critically, you must enter this scene during the state akin to sleep, what Neville abbreviated as SATS. This is the physiological and psychological gateway to the subconscious, the fertile ground where seeds of new realities are sown. The SATS is that drowsy, hypnagogic state you experience just before drifting off to sleep, or just as you begin to awaken. In this profoundly relaxed condition, the conscious mind, with its doubts and critical faculties, releases its iron grip on consensus reality. The sentinels of reason are at ease, and the subconscious becomes supremely receptive and impressionable. It is in this state that you will perform the core of the practice. As you lie in your bed, ready for sleep, you bring your imaginal act to the forefront of your mind. You don't just watch it. You enter it. You are the central actor in your own divine drama. You replay your brief scene over and over again, with as much sensory engagement and feeling as you can muster. Each repetition deepens the impression upon the subconscious. You must persist in replaying this loop until the feeling of the wish fulfilled becomes so real, so natural, that you drift off to sleep while still dwelling within that state. This practice must be performed every single night for 3 consecutive nights with absolute fidelity. There are no nights off. The reason for the specific 3-day framework is both profoundly practical and deeply symbolic. From a practical standpoint, 3 consecutive nights of focused impression upon the subconscious mind in this highly receptive state can be enough to create a fundamental shift in your habitual dwelling place of consciousness. It is a concentrated assault on your old patterns of thinking and feeling. You are, in effect, saturating your inner world with the feeling of the wish fulfilled until it becomes your dominant assumption. The consistency over 3 nights helps to solidify this new state, preventing you from slipping back into your old reality of lack or longing during the day. Symbolically, the number 3 resonates throughout mystical and religious traditions as a number of completion, synthesis, and divine manifestation. Think of the Trinity, the 3 phases of creation, or the structure of a classic narrative with a beginning, middle, and end. 3 represents the bridge between the invisible world of imagination and the visible world of form. By engaging in this practice for 3 nights, you are participating in an ancient archetypal pattern of creation, signaling to the deepest levels of your being that the process is complete and manifestation is imminent. It is a declaration that the inner work is done, and the physical reflection must now follow. A visually calm and sophisticated setting. The imaginal scene you construct is the vehicle through which your consciousness travels from your current state to the state of the wish fulfilled. Therefore, its construction requires careful consideration and artistic precision. This scene is not a daydream. It is a meticulously crafted blueprint for your reality, a concentrated moment of future experience that you will impress upon the fertile ground of your subconscious mind. Think of yourself as a film director, but the film you are creating is not for an external audience. It is a private screening for the deepest part of your own being, the part that has the power to externalize it into your world. The success of your manifestation hinges on the quality and precision of this internal movie. It is the bridge of incident that your consciousness will cross to arrive at your desired destination. The scene you create must be radically compressed in time. Aim for a duration of no more than 3 to 5 seconds. Brevity is absolutely essential. The reason for this is purely practical. You will be repeating this short, potent scene over and over again, dozens of times, as you drift into the state akin to sleep. A scene that is too elaborate, too long, or filled with too much action becomes incredibly difficult to sustain with consistent sensory detail. If the scene meanders or changes with each repetition, you dilute the impression you are making upon your subconscious. The goal is to create a single powerful and unvarying stamp that you will press into your mind until the impression is indelible. It's like carving a single clear symbol into stone, rather than sketching a complex and shifting landscape. Furthermore, your scene must always imply that the desire has already been fulfilled. It must never depict the process of getting there. This is a common and critical mistake. For example, if your desire is to secure a specific, high-level career position, you must not imagine yourself going through the interview process, no matter how successfully. Do not imagine receiving the phone call with the job offer or signing the employment contract. These are all acts of seeking and receiving. They still contain the subtle vibration of want. Instead, you must imagine a moment that could only happen asterisk after asterisk. You have already been in that role for some time. Imagine yourself sitting at your new desk in that office, feeling the solid weight of a company award in your hand. Perhaps you feel the unique texture of a business card, printed with your name and your new, prestigious title. Or maybe you simply hear a trusted colleague walking past your door and addressing you by your new professional designation, like, "Good morning, Director." The scene should feel completely natural, almost mundane, a simple, ordinary moment extracted from your already transformed life. It is the naturalness of the scene that convinces the subconscious of its reality. The importance of sensory vividness cannot possibly be overstated. Neville Goddard himself insisted that the feeling of reality, the deep, internal sense that what you are imagining is actually happening right now, is the singular secret to all successful acts of conscious creation. To achieve this profound level of realism, you must actively engage multiple senses within your imaginal act. Do not just see the scene, you must live inside of it. If your scene involves embracing a loved one, you must feel the distinct pressure of their arms wrapped around you. Feel the warmth radiating from their body against yours. You might even perceive the subtle familiar scent of their cologne or their perfume, a scent that instantly brings their presence to life in your mind. If you are imagining a material object, like a new car, don't just see it. Feel the weight of the key fob in your palm, the coolness of the metal. Feel the smooth texture of the leather steering wheel beneath your fingertips, and the specific temperature of the conditioned air on your skin. The more senses you can weave into your 3 to 5 second loop, the more real and solid it becomes to your inner world. However, and this is a point of crucial importance, you must not strain or force the creation of these sensory details. The imagination, when it is properly and relaxedly engaged, supplies this rich sensory information to you naturally and without effort. If you find yourself laboriously trying to manufacture sensations, if you are consciously thinking, "Now I must feel the texture, now I must smell the scent," you have likely slipped out of the state of imaginative absorption. You have reverted to conscious left brain effort rather than surrendering to the creative right brain flow of imagination. The key is gentle persistence. It is a process of returning again and again to your simple scene. With each repetition, you will find that it becomes increasingly vivid, increasingly real to your inner senses, almost of its own accord. It's a delicate dance between intention and surrender. You set the stage with your chosen scene, and then you allow your imagination to fill in the details spontaneously. Finally, your imaginal scene must carry the appropriate emotional resonance. I am not speaking of a forced or manufactured emotion, but the natural feeling tone that would inevitably accompany such a moment if it were happening to you in physical reality. Often, the true feeling of a wish fulfilled is not one of wild, ecstatic excitement. More commonly, it is a quiet sense of profound satisfaction. It can be a deep feeling of relief, as if a great weight has been lifted. It might be a peaceful, gentle joy that settles over you. The feeling should match what you would genuinely and honestly experience in that moment, not what you think you should feel based on societal expectations. If receiving a large sum of money would bring you a feeling of calm security rather than jump for joy glee, then it is that feeling of calm security that you must capture in your scene. Honesty in feeling is paramount, because the subconscious mind responds to authentic feeling, not to performative emotion. This quiet, natural feeling is the final seal upon your imaginal act, the authentic signature that confirms its reality. As the third night concludes and you awaken on the fourth day, you have completed the technical aspect of the method. What follows is perhaps the most challenging phase, the phase of sustained faith and receptivity. You must now enter what might be called the silence of certainty. Having planted your seed through 3 nights of concentrated imaginal activity, you must now resist the temptation to dig it up through anxious checking, obsessive visualization, or desperate repetition of the technique. Neville was emphatic about this. Once you have successfully impressed the subconscious, continued effort is not only unnecessary but potentially counterproductive, for it implies that the work is not yet complete. This does not mean you abandon the state of the wish fulfilled. On the contrary, you must continue to think from your desire throughout your days, naturally and without strain, as you would think from any established fact of your life. If someone were to ask you your name, you would not need to concentrate intensely or repeat affirmations. You would simply know it and speak from that knowing. This is the quality of consciousness you must bring to your fulfilled desire. When you have truly assumed the feeling of the wish fulfilled, the anxious striving ceases. You move through your days with an inner quietude, a confidence that what you have done in imagination is a finished reality waiting to appear in your world. Your mental conversations and inner moods should reflect this new reality. You are no longer hoping for your desire. You are living from its fulfillment. The manifestation itself may arrive in countless forms. It may come through an unexpected opportunity, a chance encounter, a sudden insight, or a seemingly ordinary event that proves to be the bridge between your imaginal act and its physical counterpart. Your task is not to predetermine the pathway, but to remain alert and receptive to whatever door opens before you. The universe operates through the path of least resistance, and the means by which your desire will unfold are often beyond your current comprehension. To insist on a specific how is to limit the infinite ways your desire can come to you. Trust that the intelligence that received your impression knows the perfect and most natural way to bring it forth. Your only responsibility is to remain faithful to the end state, the feeling of the wish already fulfilled. It is crucial to understand that the 3-day method is not a formula for compelling the universe to give you what you want. Rather, it is a technique for transforming who you are at the deepest level of consciousness. When you successfully occupy the state of the wish fulfilled for 3 consecutive nights, you are not manipulating external reality. You are reorganizing the very structure of your subjective experience, and the objective world, being nothing more than a reflection of subjectivity, must inevitably conform to this new organization. You are not changing things out there. You are changing the I that perceives them. And as the I changes, the world it beholds must change with it. This is the fundamental principle of all of Neville's teachings. Consciousness is the one and only reality. Some desires will manifest with startling speed within days or even hours of completing the practice. Others may take weeks or months, not because the technique has failed, but because the gap between your current state and the desired state was considerable, requiring more extensive inner transformation. The 3-day method provides the initial momentum, but your continued dwelling in the state of the wish fulfilled sustains that momentum until it achieves physical expression. The time it takes for a manifestation to appear is directly proportional to the naturalness with which you wear the new state. If the feeling of having your desire feels completely natural to you, the physical evidence will appear quickly. If it feels foreign or requires effort to maintain, a longer period of inner adjustment may be necessary. Should you practice this method for one desire and then immediately begin it for another? Neville's guidance on this point was nuanced. If you find yourself constantly jumping from one desire to another, never allowing any single seed to germinate fully, you will experience perpetual sowing, but no harvest. However, if you have completed the 3-day method for one desire and genuinely entered the Sabbath rest regarding it, there is no prohibition against beginning the method for a different desire. The key is to be honest with yourself. Have you truly let go? Do you feel that deep, unshakable conviction that the first desire is done? If so, then you are free to plant another seed in the garden of your mind. But if you are starting a new process as a way to distract from your doubt about the first, you are only working against yourself. Ultimately, this method is not meant to be a temporary technique you employ in moments of desperation. It is an introduction to a way of life, a mode of consciousness in which you recognize yourself as the operant power in your experience, the selector of states, the determiner of what shall be impressed upon the creative medium of your subconscious mind. As you become more practiced, you will find that 3 days is simply a structure for beginners. Eventually, a single night or even a single moment of complete assumption can be sufficient to precipitate change. You will learn to move into states of consciousness at will, to feel the reality of your desire so completely in a single focused instant that the 3-day process becomes unnecessary. The goal is to live in a perpetual state of conscious creation. The invitation here is not merely to manifest a desire, though that will certainly occur when the method is properly applied. The deeper invitation is to awaken to your true nature as pure consciousness, the foundation and substance of all that you experience. When you realize that your awareness is not a passive observer, but the active creator of your reality, the question is no longer, can I manifest this particular desire? But rather, what state of consciousness do I wish to inhabit? For whatever state you dwell in, consciously or unconsciously, must and will harden into fact. You are the artist, and your imagination is the studio where you form the masterpiece that is your life. This method is simply one of the tools. The nighttime practice of state akin to sleep is the cornerstone of the 3-day method. But to witness your desires manifest with remarkable speed, your daytime consciousness must be managed with an equal, if not greater, level of discipline. The work you do in the darkness of your room must be supported by the light of your conscious day. This is where the true test of faith begins, and it is a critical component that separates fleeting wishes from solidified realities. Without this daytime vigilance, your nocturnal impressions can be easily undone by the habitual thoughts and reactions of your waking mind. Neville Goddard frequently emphasized a concept he termed the Sabbath. This is not a day of the week, but a state of being, a profound mental rest. It is a deliberate cessation from all anxiety, doubt, and the restless urge to manipulate external circumstances to force your desire into existence. Throughout these 3 days, you must embody what can be described as a conscious indifference to the current state of your desire in the outer world. This doesn't imply passivity or a withdrawal from life's responsibilities. You continue to take inspired action as it arises naturally. However, it signifies a fundamental shift in where you derive your sense of reality. You must stop looking to the physical world for validation. If your desire has not yet materialized in physical form, you must not allow this absence to disturb your inner conviction. The 3-dimensional world, the world of effects, is perpetually lagging behind the world of consciousness, the world of cause. It is a mirror reflecting yesterday's state of mind, not the new state you are now inhabiting. Consider the analogy of a farmer planting a seed. After placing it in the soil, he does not frantically dig it up each day to check if it has sprouted. Such an act would destroy the very growth he seeks. Instead, he waters the soil and trusts the invisible lawful process unfolding beneath the surface. In this method, your imaginal acts are the seeds, your unwavering faith is the fertile soil, and this 3-day period is the sacred time of germination. You must protect this germination process from the weeds of doubt. During these 3 days, it is imperative to monitor your mental conversations with meticulous care. The vast majority of individuals are unknowingly trapped in a cycle of self-sabotage, driven by an incessant internal dialogue that consistently affirms the very conditions they wish to escape. They mentally rehearse conversations of lack, repeating thoughts like, "I never have enough money," "People never appreciate my work," or "It's impossible to find a good partner." These are not just fleeting thoughts. They are potent assumptions that act as creative commands, continuously recreating the unwanted circumstances in their lives. Your inner speech is the rudder that steers the ship of your reality. To counteract this, you must diligently practice what Neville called revision throughout your day. Revision is the art of consciously rewriting your inner world. When you catch yourself thinking from the old state, the state of lack, limitation, or frustration, you do not fight the thought or berate yourself. Instead, you gently and lovingly redirect your mind back to the assumption, that your desire is already a fulfilled fact. This is not a forceful act of positive thinking or a denial of your present sensory evidence. It is a quiet, persistent realignment of your consciousness with the end result you have been impressing upon your subconscious mind each night. It is like gently tuning a radio dial away from the station of static and onto a clear broadcast of your fulfilled desire. Furthermore, you must cultivate a very specific and disciplined relationship with time during this 3-day period. You must completely abandon the habit of anxiously counting the days or hours, constantly peering over the horizon of your mind, wondering when your manifestation will finally appear. To do so is to affirm that it is not yet here, which directly contradicts the state of the wish fulfilled. Neville taught a profound truth. The desire and its fulfillment are one and the same in consciousness. They are only separated in the three-dimensional world by an interval of time necessary for the event to unfold. That interval might be 3 days, or it could be longer. In either case, your task is not to fixate on the waiting period. Your sole responsibility is to occupy the state of the wish fulfilled now, in this eternal present moment. Feel the relief, the gratitude, and the reality of your accomplishment right now, regardless of what the clock or the calendar says. This present moment occupancy of the state is the key that collapses the illusion of time. As the 3rd night concludes and you awaken on the 4th day, you have completed the technical aspect of the method. What follows is perhaps the most challenging phase, the phase of sustained faith and receptivity. You must now enter what might be called the silence of certainty. Having planted your seed through 3 nights of concentrated imaginal activity, you must now resist the temptation to dig it up through anxious checking, obsessive visualization, or desperate repetition of the technique. Neville was emphatic about this. Once you have successfully impressed the subconscious, continued effort is not only unnecessary but potentially counterproductive, for it implies that the work is not yet complete. This does not mean you abandon the state of the wish fulfilled. On the contrary, you must continue to think from your desire throughout your days, naturally and without strain, as you would think from any established fact of your life. If someone were to ask you your name, you would not need to concentrate intensely or repeat affirmations. You would simply know it and speak from that knowing. This is the quality of consciousness you must bring to your fulfilled desire. When you have truly assumed the feeling of the wish fulfilled, the anxious striving ceases. You move through your days with an inner quietude, a confidence that what you have done in imagination is a finished reality waiting to appear in your world. Your mental conversations and inner moods should reflect this new reality. You are no longer hoping for your desire. You are living from its fulfillment. The manifestation itself may arrive in countless forms. It may come through an unexpected opportunity, a chance encounter, a sudden insight, or a seemingly ordinary event that proves to be the bridge between your imaginal act and its physical counterpart. Your task is not to predetermine the pathway, but to remain alert and receptive to whatever door opens before you. The universe operates through the path of least resistance, and the means by which your desire will unfold are often beyond your current comprehension. To insist on a specific how is to limit the infinite ways your desire can come to you. Trust that the intelligence that received your impression knows the perfect and most natural way to bring it forth. Your only responsibility is to remain faithful to the end state, the feeling of the wish already fulfilled. It is crucial to understand that the 3-day method is not a formula for compelling the universe to give you what you want. Rather, it is a technique for transforming who you are at the deepest level of consciousness. When you successfully occupy the state of the wish fulfilled for 3 consecutive nights, you are not manipulating external reality. You are reorganizing the very structure of your subjective experience, and the objective world, being nothing more than a reflection of subjectivity, must inevitably conform to this new organization. You are not changing things out there. You are changing the I that perceives them. And as the I changes, the world it beholds must change with it. This is the fundamental principle of all of Neville's teachings. Consciousness is the one and only reality. Some desires will manifest with startling speed within days or even hours of completing the practice. Others may take weeks or months, not because the technique has failed, but because the gap between your current state and the desired state was considerable, requiring more extensive inner transformation. The 3-day method provides the initial momentum, but your continued dwelling in the state of the wish fulfilled sustains that momentum until it achieves physical expression. The time it takes for a manifestation to appear is directly proportional to the naturalness with which you wear the new state. If the feeling of having your desire feels completely natural to you, the physical evidence will appear quickly. If it feels foreign or requires effort to maintain, a longer period of inner adjustment may be necessary. Should you practice this method for one desire and then immediately begin it for another? Neville's guidance on this point was nuanced. If you find yourself constantly jumping from one desire to another, never allowing any single seed to germinate fully, you will experience perpetual sowing, but no harvest. However, if you have completed the 3-day method for one desire and genuinely entered the Sabbath rest regarding it, there is no prohibition against beginning the method for a different desire. The key is to be honest with yourself. Have you truly let go? Do you feel that deep, unshakable conviction that the first desire is done? If so, then you are free to plant another seed in the garden of your mind. But if you are starting a new process as a way to distract from your doubt about the first, you are only working against yourself. Ultimately, this method is not meant to be a temporary technique you employ in moments of desperation. It is an introduction to a way of life, a mode of consciousness in which you recognize yourself as the operant power in your experience, the selector of states, the determiner of what shall be impressed upon the creative medium of your subconscious mind. As you become more practiced, you will find that 3 days is simply a structure for beginners. Eventually, a single night or even a single moment of complete assumption can be sufficient to precipitate change. You will learn to move into states of consciousness at will, to feel the reality of your desire so completely in a single focused instant that the 3-day process becomes unnecessary. The goal is to live in a perpetual state of conscious creation. The invitation here is not merely to manifest a desire, though that will certainly occur when the method is properly applied. The deeper invitation is to awaken to your true nature as pure consciousness, the foundation and substance of all that you experience. When you realize that your awareness is not a passive observer, but the active creator of your reality, the question is no longer, can I manifest this particular desire? But rather, what state of consciousness do I wish to inhabit? For whatever state you dwell in, consciously or unconsciously, must and will harden into fact. You are the artist, and your imagination is the studio where you form the masterpiece that is your life. This method is simply one of the tools, a powerful one, to help you realize your own creative power. I thank you for your attention to these profound principles. If this exploration of Neville Goddard's teachings has resonated with your deeper understanding, I invite you to subscribe to this channel and express your appreciation through the like button. Your engagement allows these timeless philosophical principles to reach others who are prepared to receive them.